form of billing. Gary, I know you've asked me this past couple of meetings, and, we were asked to have one faxed. When I called them and contacted them, they said that Don had actually asked for one to be faxed on the 23rd, and so that bill has been here. And, so now I wanted that late fee reimbursed to the city, and they agreed to reimburse that to the city. So the total of that bill will be $589.60, not $766.48. I don't know how you need to do that for your bookkeeping. How do you think, Robert?
If they've got a motion to second to approve it as is, you need to amend your motion to second to the correct amount. Made the motion. Can you amend your motion to the correct amount, less than 176?
Yes, I will.
But I know that since you've had keys made, Donna, where were those keys made and who made them?
And Dawn is not the key, there's 5 keys made.
Okay, but they're not
Those went through a long time ago.
I know, but they're not to be I never noticed them. They're not to be replicated. So those keys were not duplicatable keys, and you had someone duplicate them.
They are by numbers. We didn't have keys at the time, and you said Deb had it, Deb
And
said she
so
didn't have it.
you have, well, she did. I had the list, and then Deb had the list. Where is your list now for the keys accounted for in the city?
Through the vault.
Okay, I would like you to go get that in a little bit. I want to see the list of the keys you have issued
Okay.
during this meeting. Okay.
Amend.
Yes.
Can you amend your second?
I can amend the second, sure.
Okay, are we ready to call roll?
I have a question.
Any other questions? Yes.
As you pointed out, Mayor, the last 3 meetings I asked about that invoice.
Yes.
Why were you not truthful in your answer to me the last 3 times?
I was truthful in my answer to you.
You were not. You had an invoice that was left you the day that those locks were changed.
The invoice was not a billing.
I asked you, you had a copy of the invoice, and you never once said that I have a copy of that invoice and perhaps.
I will not allow you to turn this on me.
Okay, no.
I had an invoice he handed me that day. You asked where the bill was. We did not have a bill. That was your exact question. I had the invoice. I never received a bill. When I phoned him about that, he said that we do not send out billings. So I never was untruthful, and how dare you say that I was? You better get your facts straight, because that, my friend, is slander.
Do you think at 3 council meetings it would have jumped your opinion or your mind that, oh, you know
Gary,
what?
I don't know how they bill.
Mayor, I'm not interrupting you and your
No,
response.
you do very often. You've
I-
been extremely rude.
I would
I'm
pre-
done with this discussion. I had said nothing untruthful. Why would I hide an invoice on keys that the whole news reported that we had changed? We're going to pay them. What was the point in hiding that? You asked if they billed us. They had not billed us. Is that correct, Councilman Allen? Did you ask me if they had billed us? Yes or no? Yes or no? Did you ask me if they billed us?
I asked if there was an invoice that had been
No,
sent.
you
to the
said a
city
bill.
and
Have
billed.
they billed us?
Why did you not, in 3 council meetings, you had an invoice in your office that was left to you that day. Why did it not jaunt your memory that you should have told me that, you know, they left an invoice, maybe I
Asked
should.
if they billed us. They had not billed us.
What do you think an invoice is? What do you think an invoice with your signature is? And I asked
I
you 3.
signed for it.
I asked you 3 times.
That's an invoice, that's
And
a
you
bill.
didn't have a copy of it, or you said, no, they haven't billed us yet. Why
Gary.
didn't you come up and say, you know what, I've got a copy of mine in my office, maybe I'll call them and see. But yeah,
Gary,
you encouraged.
Let me ask you why in the world I would hide an invoice for something that was published on the news. It was public knowledge. I
Well, you're-
signed for it.
Because you're embarrassed that it cost $600 to change the locks.
I'm
when-
not embarrassed. I asked for those locks to be changed, knowing what they would cost.
Would you
They're
let me-
high security locks, Gary.
Would you let me finish, please?
Sure, Gary.
If I, what?
Continue campaigning for yourself.
I'm done.
Thank you. It's about time.
Well, yeah, it is, Mayor.
Yes, it is, Gary.
Kathy, you called me bully last time, you asked I resign. There is somebody in this city that should resign, you're asking the wrong people, right there. Did your superintendent at school that you work for, did they ever?
We are in a
Did they ever
governmentally
write you?
designed meeting, Gary.
Talk.
Stop. No, Ron, that's not the platform
That's
of
the
this
problem,
meeting.
Jennifer, you won't let them talk.
Oh, that is not the purpose of this meeting. There is a place on this agenda for discussion unless you don't understand
Okay, then we'll
agendas.
have it.
Yes, we
Just
will.
wait.
As I said, you have embarrassed the city with your Facebook rants. Okay, are we ready to roll? Any other questions?
I had one, but I asked the city clerk prior to our meeting, and she answered it. Thank you.
Very good. That's what the city clerk is for. Call roll?
Trees,
Yes.
Coslow,
Yes.
McAfee.
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Kaufman,
Yes.
Day.
Yes.
Okay, we have visitors on the agenda. First of all, we have Patrick Tuttle, Director of Joplin Convention and Visitors Bureau, referencing the Mother Road Marathon. Is he here?
He's running.
He's running. Okay, so we hope he comes back. Some fun here. We also have Leroy Ediger on the agenda. Mr. Ediger, we welcome you.
Thank you, Mayor. I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but I still want to keep this thing going until we get something done. I wish we would put every one of the councilmen and so on and so forth on the ballot, just like we had the mayor on the ballot, and see how many of them come back and how many of them don't come back. And another thing and the only other thing that I have is I feel very much like one councilman, and maybe even more than one, and all they're trying to do is embarrass the mayor to the fact that she'll get mad and blow up, and that's not what we need to do here. She wants to get ahead of this thing, fall in line, and go ahead and see what we're gonna do with this meeting. Thank you.
Leroy. We have Sue Gass referencing the 4th of July celebration.
I kind of have a couple handouts here, one for each councilman. Okay, so last year, we'll refer to the 4th of July celebration. Last year, I want to thank Jennifer because she made a commitment when she became mayor that we weren't going to spend any money on taxpayers' money on the 4th of July celebration. So we went around, collected volunteers, collected money, and put on a 4th of July celebration last year, which about 1,500 people attended. So, and Jennifer and Jody and we had a band that volunteered, and the fireworks, we kept within budget. I'm gonna tell you right now, I resigned from that committee. I'm not collecting any more money. Each one of you can figure out who's gonna do it this year. I've resigned from this city as your entertainment. If you have $5,000 to spend on an attorney and not on the fireworks, and I don't care if they're in the budget or not, you guys run the show. I'm done. I haven't been here for the past couple of meetings because I think it's disappointment. It's not anger. It's disappointment in what this has turned into. Even last year, we only had 2 city councilmen that showed up at the celebration anyway. In any event that we have, we only have 1 or 2 city councilmen that show up. I worked 6 days a week and collected $5,000 and found volunteers and found everything else. Who else works 6 days a week?
And the surplus of that money was put into an account in the city. Have we ever decided how you're going to get that?
No, there's still $1,000 surplus in there, so we're trying to figure that out.
How
So,
are we gonna get that for them?
City Council, welcome to the 4th of July celebration. That if it's not thrown this year, it's not my fault, it's yours. So if you have extra money sitting around that you can do that, it just boggles my mind.
And so you gave a lot of credit, but you were the one that pounded the pavement last year, and you really did put that together, you and Charlene, and we really appreciated that.
Yep, well, now it's in this right here. As long as I have 2 more seconds, I just want to update. Not that anybody cared, because for 2 solid years, I have been asking, not that anybody noticed, the walk, don't walk light between American Bank heading to my place has been busted off for 2 years. I have asked Dave Edmondson, I have asked whatever city officials, can you get that thing fixed? 2 years. 2 weeks ago, I had a guy walk into my shop just for lunch, and I'm gonna have nobody walk into my shop pretty soon, because I said, what do you do? And he said, I'm with KDOT. I went, whoa, wait a minute, before you even order, why don't you walk outside with me? Walk to that light, and I said, we don't have a walk, don't walk light here. He picked up the phone, made a call, it's up there now. 1 week, right person, a citizen has to figure out how to get that taken care of. The next thing I asked him was, we as business owners on Military, I said, the speed limit through this town, downtown, can we get that changed? And he said, well, it's hard to change. What it is an enforcement problem. And I have asked Dave Edmondson, can you patrol Military? Because I have a lot of people parked on Military, elderly, handicapped people, that cannot get out of their cars because of the traffic that is coming through there. Who am I gonna get? I said, it's 30 miles an hour. He said, well, even if it's 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, the police aren't gonna stop anybody until it's like 9 miles an hour over. And I said, why? Now we have a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. Now it's 39 to 40 going through downtown. And I would really invite any one of you who have never been into my shop, which would be most of you, to sit there sometime and watch the speed of the semis going through there, especially between 7 and 8 in the morning and 5 and 7 at night. It's horrendous. And why we can't get our police force to enforce the speed limits that we have there. I have people parking along the sides so they don't have to park on Military. That just boggles my mind.
Go to Quapaw.
That's what I always tell all the visitors, that we are the visitor center too for Oklahoma as the people are coming through. Don't speed through Quapaw. They don't say that about Baxter. You can go whatever speed you want. Also, I was hoping to collect sometime the list of the things that I passed out at Christmas time. You are excused. For the wants and wishes of what you are going to do for Baxter. Where's our vision? Where's our economic development? Where's anything? I gave you a list of what the kids want in this town, and I asked you to produce a list of what you guys want, and I haven't received that either. Also, we haven't had an update on the burnt down house that's been burnt down for 2.5 years. That was only supposed to take 60 days, and that was the end of December. So, and it's still burnt down in a pile of rubble. So I don't know what's happening with that. And let me see. Oh, and also if anybody's kept tabs, remember at the end of last year when I was asking you what we're doing to create an environment where people want to move into this town? Because last year we had 130 residents that passed away, and what are we doing to replace those? Well, if anybody has been keeping tabs on it, we've lost 20, plus the people are moving out. So we had 20 more residents die in Baxter, plus those moving out. What are we doing as a community to make it inviting for people to move in? Well, that's my point. We have a whole bunch of time to do all of this garbage, but we don't have anything as a progression. I'm sorry, I haven't been here for the past couple of meetings because it's like you guys socked me in the gut. You've taken out all of my enthusiasm of this community, and I'm really sorry. But anyway, 4th of July is in your lap. Thank you.
We are sorry as well. Resolutions, ordinance, attorney report?
Mayor, I don't have any resolutions or ordinances, but I will, it's like at the end of unfinished business, meeting of executive session. Unless there's any questions. Later.
Under my reporting here, there are a couple of things that I just want to say for public awareness. And moving to the top now, which I did not anticipate this, but I do want to go back to this. Coates Hawk and Key has forwarded this to me yet again. I did get the original one the day that they were here and changed the locks on the 11th of April. I'm tired of fighting with nonsense here, so I'm gonna tell you, the people that matter, because I value the opinions of those that matter to me, and I don't value the others, so I'm looking at what matters to me, okay? There is no way in the world I was embarrassed. I asked for those locks to be changed. There was no reason for me to hide this invoice. I was under the impression they were going to bill us. Now, $500 and some here versus $5,000 base pay retainer fee for an attorney out of your pocket. I'm wondering if you really